This is Second Act Sessions with Stephanie Carmody, a podcast celebrating second acts in life about embracing change, questioning the status quo, and having conversations that really matter. If I've learned anything, it's that your second act is yours to define. No matter what chapter you're in, your second act can be the most powerful yet. Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of my conversation with my good friend, Carmela Monte. Hope you enjoy. That now I'm like stepping into who I feel God has always wanted and intended for me to be. Mm-hmm. And I'm completely scared out of my mind. Don't get me wrong. I'm just literally moving forward because I feel God's telling me to do it. Yeah. And I'm scared. I'm beyond scared. This is the most scariest thing I've ever done in my life on my own. But I think even 3 years ago, never in a million years did I think I could do a podcast on my own. I was like, I'm going to get a guy. I'm going to do it together. And then everything's with someone because I could never do it on my own.
I remember you back in the day, you would talk about, this person talked about a podcast and how you were talking about it, and then you would try to collaborate. Mm-hmm. And it just never really worked out. And
because it wasn't meant to. Yeah, it wasn't meant to. And I even got close to doing it with someone else, and it's just everything kept breaking down because I think like God knew, I didn't. Like, you're meant to do this on your own. I have a much greater plan for you than even you can imagine. So I'm just like, okay, God, just trusting in you because I got nothing. I literally got nothing right now. I mean, I got you, God, and that's it. Because if not, I will crumble and I still have panic attacks. I'll wake up at 4 a.m, panic attack. I try to calm myself and talk myself off the ledge, but that's my ADHD and the anxiety that comes with it, which is so awesome. And getting older is so much fun too, by the way. We were just talking about the other day. Yeah. Like, I wake up every day, I'm like, what's going to hurt today? Is it my back? Is it my stomach? Like, what is it?
I literally do not have issues. I had a minor issue,
here and
hiking.
There.
I tore just, something minor. It was easily fixed, no surgery needed. Yeah. But as soon as I turned 50, everything broke down.
Oh my God.
Everything broke down. Within 3 weeks of me turning 50, I blew out my back. And it was just a simple walking up the stairs, turning and sneezing and blow out the back, helping my kids move into their dorm.
Oh, that's right. Heavy. I forgot about that. You like re-injured it.
Yeah, it wasn't anything heavy. It was just an awkward
movement,
item that I was sort of moving up some steps and into their dorm, and it just threw out my back and just shoulder issues and groin issues, and it's just
it's like a laundry list now as you get older.
I mean,
and we're not even that old.
I don't have any wood to knock on, but like luckily, I'm not taking any medications or anything right now, but it was a shock to the body to have one thing after another sort of fail on you. Well, you've never had that before.
Right. No, and for me, like, I've always had back issues. I've had back issues since I was 16. So I've been able to manage that. But last year, it turned into a whole other issue. And you saw me like struggling when we get together. I'd be like crippled over in pain. I can't garden anymore. I can't do a lot of things. And lo and behold, I finally did an MRI and found out that I have a tear in my disc, which makes sense. Lovely. We'll talk about that later. But I guess the point is like, okay, now I got free. I have all this freedom, right? Peace, love, purpose. And I finally have my purpose. And then I'm like, great. But now I have all this like health issues. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't. And you saw me like either my stomach or my back. It's like debilitating. It's chronic. And I'm just like, you never know. Grass ain't always greener on the other side because people might think one thing of me. And I'm just like, little do you know what I've been through, the abuse. You don't know like my health issues. I look great and perfect on camera, but I'm so not. Yeah. I'm not perfect by any means. And I just take it one day at a time. Like everyone else has issues. We're all going to have issues. We're all going to have health struggles. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm fully aware of that. But like I said, anything that you and I can impart to help others, what not to do, please just do it. Like, don't marry someone if you really are having like cold feet. It's okay. And don't be afraid to be alone. You're going to be fine. Like, you're going to be fine on the other side. Trust me. And I know that now, I still worry. I'm like, oh my God, like, I freak out about money and everything.
And my big thing was, the Italian guilt.
Yes, for you.
For my kids, that was my biggest thing. I always felt guilty. I felt guilty because I was impatient and I was, I'm an Italian, so I yell a lot, or, just actually the divorce, feeling guilty, breaking up the family, which was going to happen anyways.
But that's your point too. We've always been saying that like, it's better to, and I think you stayed because of the kids, right? You stayed. A lot of people do.
Yes.
And then you finally realized you can't do that.
Yeah, no, it just didn't work out that way. And actually from what I heard my ex too, because he would make comments too as soon as the boys graduate. Of
course.
So there was always those little comments there too. So, but again, that's no way to raise children.
No,
they're seeing
a very unhealthy marriage and you want them to emulate that in their marriages, like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
It was definitely not the ideal situation for anyone, for the kids, for us just to stay in a marriage because.
Well, I think it's different. I think also, like, if this is after, like, there's no trying with him. Like, there's no, like, getting through to a narcissist, going to therapy. He's not going to change. So I think our situations are different. But I think in other marriages, have you tried therapy? Have you tried going to church? Have you tried, to really salvage the marriage? Like, I was a Christian. I'm very against divorce. Like, obviously, like I even felt bad, like, oh, I don't ever want to be divorced. I can't be divorced. That's why I think I stuck it out for so long. Because I'm like, I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
I got this. I can do this. I've got God. I'm fine. In hindsight, God wouldn't even want me to be in an abusive relationship. And God took me out of it. He delivered me from evil that day.
Yeah.
So that was great.
And my loyalty also got in my way. I am loyal to the ends of the earth.
To a fault.
To a fault. So that did not, loyalty did not benefit me.
No.
So again, sometimes just things have to happen for you to move in the right direction.
You have to. And I think for both of us, we had very big events happen, right? Your case was big and mine was too, in the sense that like we were just going down such a dark path. It was getting worse and worse and worse. And like I said, I was just like done. And then must have been done, but he wasn't communicating. We didn't talk for like a week. It was weird. It was just awful. But like, I don't have any regrets because like, look where we are now.
Yeah. 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 Like I said, just emotionally, I am so much more at peace. Mentally, I'm so much more at peace.
Me too.
I'm not always wondering, am I doing this right? Is he going to get upset or is he going to get annoyed? Is he going to make a snide comment?
All
it was
the time.
Just always those thoughts in your mind. Oh, what did I do wrong now? Or this,
Right.
That's not the way to live.
But I think that's so funny because a lot of people are like, oh, they talk about dating nowadays, right? And they're like, where are all the women? They're home. Like, we are home. I don't want to go out. I love my bed now. I've never had peace in my home, Carmela. So for the past 3 years, that's what I've been savoring. I've never had peace. I never liked being home because he worked from home. So his energy was just toxic in the house. I had to get out all the time for my sanity's sake, even if it was running errands all day or going to my parents, or I just had to get away from him because it was so toxic. And so now that I'm in my home, like, look at me, I'm redoing my kitchen, I'm making it my own. And that is part of my healing. Yeah. It really is. And like, now I love being alone. Like I'm not on any dating apps. I don't want to date anyone. Yeah. I put myself out there a little bit just to see. No, not good.
And I don't like the word you're reinventing yourself, but you sort of are, because you went from the person from when you were younger who always needed to be with somebody to now loving. I don't want to say your freedom, but you're fine being by yourself. I'm fine. You don't need
I don't need a man. I want a man. I don't need a man. There's a difference. Yeah. And I think the only reason with my ex I stayed is because he was a lawyer. We had very fun life in that respect. He made a lot of money. We went on amazing trips. It was a great lifestyle. I was used to this lifestyle, right? And of having money. Like, I grew up very middle class. I made my own money, right? I bought my own designer bags, my own jewelry. No one bought that for me. I did that myself. I was very proud of that. Like, I worked very hard. And then to kind of, in a way, I feel like I gave all that up for someone who's more controlling, and then held money over my head too. Controlled the money. I couldn't spend any money. He controlled it all. We want to go on vacation, his vacation, what he wanted to do. Or I'd say, this, and he'd be fine with it. But like, that was fine to spend money on. But like, me buying anything, I get yelled at. Why are all these bags coming to the house? Why is Amazon coming over? I'm like, I'm buying vitamins for the dog, dude. Like, what are you yelling at me for? Like, it was there. So I don't have any of that anymore. And that's why I'm saying we have our peace now. And I love my home, and I love being here. And I don't need a man. I'm really fine. I don't care. And I don't care if I ever end up with anyone. I'm really fine. So my point being that I think the only piece that gave me at least that comfort was the financial element. Like, I knew I was always protected financially. Even though I wasn't able to touch it, I knew that we'd have money and I'd be okay. I wouldn't be like poor. And now that I'm on my own, I think that's the one piece that scares me, that I do feel God is showing me I can trust in him for. He always provides. And you've seen how he provides. Like, I'll just get a random check for $100 one day, or I'll get a credit on something. I'm like, God, really? He really does provide, you know, even when I'm not expecting it. So, but it's hard trusting and not knowing the future. And it is scary. But you know what? I'm doing it. And I have no other choice. I'm just taking it day by day. Yeah. I think, as so many other people are that are finding themselves newly divorced in a new season in life, right? Or a new chapter. And so like, look, you're not alone is what I would say. We hear you, we'd love to hear from you. Any thoughts, any questions you have. If you're thinking of going through a divorce, or if you are in a divorce right now and you're going through the process, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot. And I think you need time to process that, and don't jump into a relationship. I think so many people did. You go from relationship to relationship that you aren't taking the time to sit in it and sit with yourself and be like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What am I bringing to the table? What baggage is affecting this relationship? And what am I projecting onto this person? Like, I'm trying to fix them. Why?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm always looking for the best in them. And they're not good at this, but that's okay. No, be single, stay alone until you find the person that is meant for you. That you're not making any concessions. You're not trying to fit square peg round hole. You know what I'm saying? Into anything to fit your life or to fit this vision that you thought you wanted for your life.
Yeah. You just want to find somebody that loves you for all of you, the good, the bad, the ugly.
That sees you too, like to be seen. Yeah. And that's what I feel like I had in that connection. I felt like this person kind of really saw me, and I saw him. And that is rare. And I feel like that is what I really, really want in a relationship. It's not like, oh, I need this and da-da-da. No, like I really need very important things, like very deep, important things, that I don't even know. I'm looking for a unicorn, basically. I basically am looking for a unicorn.
They're definitely out there. But like you said, don't settle in the meantime until you find
Never.
them. And if you don't,
and I'm okay, then maybe that's what God had planned, right?
You're going to be fine too.
Right. And I know that now, but see, I know it now. I know I'm going to be fine. Before I didn't. Yeah. And you don't know until you go through it and you do the work and you do the healing. Like that's so important. I'm so glad that this all happened, because now I can be a better aunt. I can be a better sister, a better daughter, a better friend. Even though I have like 3 friends, quality over quantity.
Exactly.
I laugh though, because I really don't have a lot of friends, and I'm okay with that, because I don't have patience. I just don't have time for the drama. I don't do drama at all. And, I don't know.
But again, it's what you qualify or what you consider a friend to be. I think you have a lot of friends and acquaintances and you're friendly to a lot of people.
And different walks of life and different ages, which I think is a really nice thing to have that people don't realize. I think having friends of different ages is helpful, because you can learn so much. Like
absolutely.
Lauren, my millennial friend, I call her, she helps me like on a technology side too on things. I'm always like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a Gen Xer. I don't know how any of this stuff works. And technology does not like me. Technology is not my friend. And she saw that in Rome, because anytime we do something, I'd be like, oh, can you send me your photos from today? And then it would never work. I'm like, it's not me. I'm telling you, technology hates me. So, and I was even telling my producer this. He's like laughing. I'm like, no, I'm not joking.
I believe we have whatever energy coming off of us, because I remember as a individual who worked at a grocery store and worked many different areas of the grocery store.
Oh, we worked together. Yeah, we did.
When we were younger. I worked in the deli and I broke every scale, and then I worked up front and I broke the cash registers. And again, it wasn't like I don't know what I did. They're like, we don't know what you did, but something went awry.
Oh my God.
I do that too with all my computers and my phones. You always make fun of me when we're out and I something is wrong with my phone, or you ask me to send you a picture or do
nothing works.
Something
works.
Always goes wrong. It always glitches. It freezes. Whatever,
always
at the most inopportune times. But
story of my life. Story of my life. Really,
I'm sticking to it. It's whatever energy is coming off of me and not human error.
No, I do believe it is energy. I'm not even joking. I do think that's it. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't work. I'm like, all right, I'm so over that. And I get frustrated, and then I start screaming, because I'm like, why is this working? Anyways, but
that's the one thing I love about you and I, though, because we are Polish and Italian.
Are very similar.
We talk loud. We're not yelling.
No, we just talk loud.
We just talk loud.
Yep. My ex hated it. He's like, why are you yelling? I'm like, I'm not yelling. If you want to see yelling, let me show you.
Exactly.
We're just loud. You saw it. So my sister had a party yesterday, and we're all in the kitchen. My family, my sisters, my mom, you, her friends. I mean, we're all loud and we're talking, and that's just normal to me.
And talking over each other.
Yes, all the time. I love it, but it's homey and it feels real. Yeah. And we can cut each other down 1 minute and we're fine, but that's just how we are.
It cracks me up though. Sometimes we can hear ourselves getting louder and louder.
I know.
And
I'm like,
and at some point it gets to such a level okay, we need to bring it down again.
So true. So true.
And then some people will think you're fighting, but we're not. We're not.
We're fighting. Passionate. I'm just going to say we're very passionate.
Exactly.
And I'm very passionate about things that people I care about, topics I care about. Yeah. Don't get me started on current events and all that, because you know me, I can't stop to the point where I think people think I'm crazy. I don't even care.
But
I don't care anymore.
So we understand each other though. And that's what I love about having that support system, having a good friend. If you don't have somebody, you know, you don't need to be in a relationship. If you do have somebody, just that one person that understands you, that gets you. If you don't have that one person, something like this that you can relate to.
Yes, exactly.
You know, there are people out
there's
there
things
just
out
like
there for you. Yes. I think there's therapists on social media. There's podcasts. You know what I mean? There's so many resources now that we didn't have growing up.
No.
That's why I'm like, the kids today have it so great in a lot of ways, right? They don't have what we had as far as our beautiful idyllic childhood and freedom, and we didn't have internet, and the world just wasn't as dark, you know? And I actually asked my parents that the other day, because on TikTok you see a lot about, like, everyone's like, I miss the 80s and I miss, you know, our childhood. And I actually tear up a lot because I just miss that time. It was just such a good time. Yeah.
And innocence. And I just don't feel like the kids nowadays, just like you were talking, how your nieces at 5 and 7 were dealing with bullies. And it's just because there's so much more at their fingertips and there's so many more ways to be bullied nowadays. Yeah. It's just harder on kids.
It is.
I really do feel bad for kids. You know, even everything, like my kids, I'm always worried about them making a joke because 20 years down the road, they're going to be canceled because something they said when they were 12 and didn't know better.
Exactly.
And things were innocent back then, but now people take such offense to
you can't
things
say
that
anything
we thought
anymore.
were innocent and that were okay back in the day. And I just worry about that.
It's a different society now.
Sadly. Is. I constantly had to like warn them, like, just be careful what you say and how you say it and where you say it. And people are always watching and
always
it's
and
sad.
Recording, watching and recording,
sad.
and you know all of that.
I feel for them that they don't have that. And I keep saying freedom, but like we just didn't have all that fear of, and I don't know if my kids really have that fear because they're in it, but for me,
seeing it from the outside
having it, when we were younger, to really truly
compare it to, they don't know though. They only know what they know. They don't know how we grew up.
Freely with our friends and know like 20 years down the road, we're going to be canceled or fired from a job.
Right. Exactly.
So, and it could be over the stupidest, littlest thing. You just don't know what is going to offend people down the road.
No.
So anyways, I really do miss those days.
Yeah.
And not being my other issue with technology today is everything is instant. Like, you have to respond instantly. I was never like that. And
you're still not. You're still terrible. I'm like, if I'm going to send you a text, you're never going to see it.
Yeah. People know,
Drives
like,
me
if
crazy.
I'm not responding to you right away or within days, that's just me. It's nothing against you. I'm not mad at you.
No, it's not personal.
I'm just not great at responding.
Ever. And it's not like you're like, oh, I'll get back to you in a day. No, you just never get back to anyone. That's okay.
Or I forget. I will sometimes, actually quite often, start typing something out, get distracted, and then forget to hit send.
Yeah.
So that
we're all the undiagnosed Gen Xers of ADD and ADHD, and we're kind of like, what do you always say? Like shiny ball?
Yeah.
Shiny
Focus
ball.
on the shiny ball. Just
shiny ball.
On the shiny ball.
It's so true. It is so true.
Bring it back in.
I know. But like that's why. So I'll like I love listening to like my 80s music because it kind of brings me back to like a very more like peaceful time before my ex, before the world like went to hell. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I miss those days. I really do.
I do too. But we have each other to sort of reminisce and then sort of bring it back every once in a while.
Very true. Yeah. So we've been friends for what? Since I was 7, 6, 5, 4. Since I was 14.
Yeah, when you were a freshman.
I can't do the math on that, but it's a lot of years.
Yeah, it's a lot of years.
I'm not good at math. I was in PR for a reason. It wasn't about math. That's for sure.
So I was 16 and I'm 51 now. Soon to be 52 this year.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
So we've known each other for a long time. A lot of years.
Yeah. Yep.
So and again, it's these past 3 years going through this together has really brought us a lot closer. But we spent a lot of time in high school and college years together. And then as
partying and drinking, like our night away.
And then as I sort of grew with my family and then sort of, I don't want to say necessarily, that sort of took me away from everything, but it sort of did. And then your life
busy.
Sort of
you had children and I didn't. So I think everyone, it's a different life you're in. You know what I'm saying? And I get that.
Exactly.
I was never
and then
upset
your
or
life was
anything.
very different. Like you were in New York City and just living a different lifestyle.
Traveled a lot.
So, but we always managed to keep in touch. Like that's one thing we did.
We did.
Here and there. I went to go visit you when you were in Boston. I went to go visit you when you were in Manhattan.
Yep. I never had parties. You guys came. You and your ex. So at least once a year I saw you. If not two. That was fun.
We always kept that connection, which is nice. But it, like I said, coming back to this major event in our life, but
like I see how God, like, now you look back, like that's why we met. All those years. Like who knew that we would really need each other in our 40s, right? Like, so that to me is like such a blessing. And I see, how all of that worked. And it really, if you look at it, it's like God God's paintbrush throughout my life. I see it like how, oh, that's why I met that person back then. And now look what that person did for me here. Or do you know what I'm saying? Like there's always a purpose.
Yeah.
And so I love to look for that and kind of just cherish that because that's so beautiful and such a blessing. So I'm like, beyond thrilled. You can take anything negative and turn into a positive, then that's a blessing.
And we've come such a long way together.
Yeah.
And individually,
of
these
course.
past couple of years. So
of course, I've helped you with fashion.
I know.
I love it. I love fashion. I helped you a little bit.
I know.
You're doing good.
In many
you
ways,
are because now that you're buying your own clothes and you're like buying amazing things, and I'm so proud of you.
Which I never used to do.
But the thing is, too, we couldn't be more opposite. I'm like very fashionista. I love nice things and designer everything. And you're like, I don't care. I'll just buy from Amazon. And that's so funny. We're complete opposites on the scale. Opposites. We're a juxtaposition of like. Two people, but it works. Like it's funny. It's fun. We have fun. Who cares?
I think so. I mean, you help me out. I help you out. I mean, I don't know as much if I've helped you out as much as you've helped me.
Yes, you have. Stop it.
But I'm definitely there to listen and lend an ear and
or even like check me. Like, okay, Carm. Like certain things. Like, am I overreacting on this? Or like, should I be taking offense to this? Because I've learned to never react with my emotion. So like, even if I get a text, I will not respond if I'm feeling any emotion, bad, good, ugly, or upset, happy, whatever, because I just want to check myself. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of what I've been, you're good with that. You're good like a sounding board, so to speak, and keep me grounded and sane. And because I think with ADHD, they say, I didn't realize this. I didn't know anything about this either, that's pretty much what I have, undiagnosed. I have all the symptoms. And I'm laughing because our generation, we didn't talk about that. You just dealt with it.
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't deal with it. No wonder I didn't do well in school. It was hard for me because I couldn't pay attention. I was like, my brain's thinking 500 things right now as I'm looking at the teacher. Even in movies, I have to like rewind the movie. I can watch a movie and be looking at it and thinking a totally different thing in my brain and not even know at all what just happened in that movie.
Absolutely. Same with me. I'll have to read a paragraph 5 times.
Oh my God, it's exhausting.
I'm like, okay, I know I just read a paragraph, but I can't remember one word. So I go back to that paragraph and we'll read it over and over and over.
But
is that sticks.
But I've been like, wait, my whole life. So I can't even say like that's an age thing. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with an ADHD thing because like, I don't know, like it's got to be that because I don't know. My brain is so different. I think differently. I've always have, and I love that about myself.
I've definitely noticed though, I don't know if it's the age thing or what we went through, but the last, I don't know, however many years, the brain fog, and it could be everything with the menopause, the divorce, everything.
The environmental factors, don't forget.
Brain fog is real. Yeah. Like that is so real. I remember having a bad bout of that when I first had my boys. They're twins. So that was
that's normal. They say that's normal when you have, like, what do they call it? Pregnancy. I don't know, mommy brain or something like they call it, mommy brain. You just kind of like.
And I definitely was like out of it then. Yeah. And again, you're not sleeping well. No. But then it sort of all comes back again through the menopause thing where you're not sleeping well. So you have the brain fog. And then again, going through divorce and you have so many different things going through your mind.
But the other thing too is what I've learned is that with narcissists, it actually can cause brain damage.
Yes.
Brain damage.
Yes.
And you were in it for 20 plus years. I was in it for 15 plus years. So like your brain shrinks. And so now I feel like in a way, I have had to like heal my brain the past 3 years. I don't know if I'll ever be healed.
On many different levels, but just like your way of thinking and your way of feeling. So not only healing it because, they do say it shrinks.
Chemically, but I mean like everything else needs to start firing properly. Exactly.
Build up those neurons firing, like you said. And it is. There's so many different levels that you have to build yourself back up.
Yep. And that all goes back to the body really trying to protect you. And then at one point when your body breaks down, like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. Like you have to listen to your body. If nothing else, you don't want to listen to any advice. Really just go inwards and listen to your body. What is it telling you? Yeah. Ask God too, because I feel like we can't live this life alone. There's no way. You need God. No. You need God in your life.
We're social beings. We need support. We need help. And again, if you don't have immediate support, that's what these things are for. That's what podcasts for. TikTok, Instagram, just find your group. And then there's tons of groups out there that you can join that will help and support. Thank God for all of those. Because I know quite a few friends who have used those support systems to get through. They might not have had somebody as close as you and I. Right. And they might not have felt comfortable. Because a lot of times, like you said this before, and I know we're sort of going back and forth.
It's fine.
But you do try to hide it from your friends and family, how miserable you are.
Yeah. You also, because it's twofold. You don't want them thinking, oh my God, you're an idiot. Like, look at how miserable you are. Why are you staying in this marriage? Yeah. But then, like, why don't you just leave? And then you also don't want them hating your spouse, right?
Yeah,
So you don't want to tell
exactly.
everyone how, because then they're all going to hate. They're not going to want to come around and hang out with you. You don't want your family hating them, even though they all did.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you try to protect that. I don't know why, but we're trying to protect the sanctity of this marriage, even though it's highly dysfunctional, so toxic, abusive, the whole nine. But it's
Because
what
as
you
an
know. It's
individual,
what you're in.
And as an individual, you take your piece of it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a marriage. It takes two.
Exactly. So you're
You're
okay.
trying
What?
hard.
Right.
What is not working? Like,
Right.
what
And
is
I was not
working?
perfect
Why
either,
can't
don't get
I
me
make
wrong.
it? Oh,
Right.
I know. None of us are.
None of us are.
But you trying to make it work, and like everything that you're doing, it's just not working. And then it just becomes more and more frustrating. It becomes a horrible cycle. And again, you bring yourself down because you can't make it work. And you know, no matter what you do, you can't see that happy ending.
Nope.
So it just becomes more and more frustrating, and you get down on yourself. And then, like you said, you don't want others to hate your spouse or, you know, think that you're an idiot for staying in miserable. And then sometimes you don't want to burden, again, my guilt. I didn't want to burden anybody with my problems. So there's just so many issues, but people really have to overcome that because it is. And again, if I didn't have you going through this at the same time, and I had support. I had cousins. I've had friends who are also very supportive.
Reconnecting with your aunts too and all that.
It's
So
been really nice to go through all of that. And like I said, I've had cousins that checked up on me all the time. I have a cousin out in California who
she's
called
been
me all
great.
the time. She was great. I have a cousin right here who checked up on me. I have another cousin who right down the road that was checking up on me. But you know, going through this, none of them were going through it at the same time. But going through it at the same time really made all the difference.
But I think that's twofold. It's great that you did have people, and I certainly had people too. But I feel like what it also showed me was the people who were really not my friends,
it
who
goes through that.
showed their true colors,
Yeah.
who didn't even pick up the phone once to be like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
When I was there for them during cancer battles, during whatever was going on in their lives, I was always the best friend. I am a good friend. That I do know. I've learned about myself. I'm a very good friend. And I realize I have not had very good friendships because I had very bad friends who just took and took and took from me and didn't reciprocate, didn't even say thank you. So like that for me was a learning as well. I saw the ones that were there for me during my divorce, and I saw the ones I thought were really good friends who weren't. And it's not like I hate them. That's fine. They just couldn't handle it. That's fine. Now I know where to place you, whether you're in my life or not, or if you are still a friend, you're more of a friendly now. Like I'm not going to disclose everything to you because you weren't there for me at all. And like, I don't need you to be coming over to my house and like hold my hand. Honestly, just call me and be like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you feeling
we would
today?
Just talk for hours. Like we just.
But that was
I mean,
so
we don't even really go
therapeutic.
out and do much. I mean, we go out and have.
We're gonna
dinner
go out
once
after
in a while.
this. Let's go eat. I can't wait. But in general, we don't do much.
We don't.
But I
do
think
much.
I really do feel like I had hibernated for 3 years. Like, I traveled here and there. Then I got sick from traveling.
Yeah.
But I did that, and I think that was part of my healing. But like, just talking to you and even just getting it out because like we said, remember my throat chakra was, I couldn't say it to my ex. I could never just get it out of my system. And so like I saw the layers of healing. So I got distracted for a year or two, which is a welcome blessing with that person who I still to this day will always adore, you know, and we definitely have a connection, but it's just very, what's the word? Complex.
Yeah.
Complex is a word, which is fine. I forgot my train of thought. See, this is what happens when you get old age. I can't remember what I was going to say.
Shiny ball.
I don't know. I just think that like I was able to see people for who they really were as I was healing. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, okay, I met them where they are and I understand that. And it broke my heart a little bit. Like even one friend who was a good friend of mine, she was like, I'm so sorry. I really wasn't a good friend. I wasn't around for you. I'm like, okay, no, I understand. Then what, if you know that, then why don't you adjust it and correct? Do you think I heard from that person afterwards? No. But then I'm the one who went to a really important event for her family. I'm the one who would call and check in and try to keep the relationship. Why isn't anyone doing that for me? And it's not like, oh, I'm so special. Like, no, I don't think like that. I just think I know what I've done for friends. Why can't they even reciprocate a fraction of what I ever gave them? That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be heard. I just wanted to know someone cared about me. And when I didn't get that, I was like, duly noted. Yeah. I'm a Leo. Not that I even believe in that anymore, but I may forgive you, but I will never forget. That's how I am. I can't forget. And I try to be a good Christian, but at the same time, I know God would not want us being around people that are vampires and energy suckers and are literally like abusing us. And like, I even had a friend who was like bullying me who'd be like, oh, what happened to your foot? I thought you got a surgery on it. Why does it look like that? Like, why do you have to say nasty things, people? Like, I would never in a million years say that to someone. And so, like, for me, it was very eye-opening. But blessed in the same way, because like I said, I really do think God was building my tribe and getting rid of those who couldn't come with me on this journey. And I know there's going to be more people that will come into my life that will be part of my tribe. And whatever's meant to be is meant to be. Like, I have no control over anything. So
many years ahead of more, meeting, instances where we're going to meet people, many other situations that will arise that will be either, I don't want to say devastating, but as we go through our life and, people come and go and, you had mentioned a couple of weeks ago that your friend's parent had passed away and that was a devastating experience for them and how you've been checking in on her.
Every day I've reached out, like every day. Because you know what? I know that's what I would want.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be obnoxious. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Just thinking of you. How was your day? How was last night? Like, that's me. And I know maybe most people aren't like that. And I understand that. And I don't expect everyone to be like that. But in my life, at least if I'm doing that for other people, at one point I would just expect, oh my God, thank you so much. Or when I'm down and out, hey, how are you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while. Are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like just kind of upsetting when it doesn't happen, but I've learned to be like, okay.
And like I said, we're going to have so many more experiences where those situations are going to arise, where you're going to continue to see who is in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Exactly. And and when you put that like sort of phrase to it, it justifies everything. You can't get upset that people come in and out, or you don't hear from someone for like 8 months and you're kind of like, where have you been? Yeah. And then like crickets, like it is what it is.
Yeah. You couldn't possibly survive being good friends with everyone you've met.
No, exactly.
It's just impossible. There's just not enough time in a day.
No, and I think everyone leads such different lives too now. So like for you and I, like you're even different. At least you're divorced, you have kids. Yeah. I'm divorced, no kids. But then it's like hard to find friends that are kind of in your same boat because everyone else is either married with kids and they're busy and they have a full life, and rightfully so. They don't want to hang out with someone like me, maybe. They don't want to be with the divorced lady. Because I think a lot of people feel like by association that could happen to them. Because I really do think a lot of people think like that.
It could be, or it could just be like the lifestyle so different. Because I know when my kids were younger, I mean, we just constantly went to sporting events and just like their sporting events.
You're in it, right?
Yeah,
I get it.
You don't necessarily want to invite. Like I would have never thought to invite you to a sporting event like that. Now we had other, family members and friends that had kids who were playing that sport that might be interested, that might want to come and see. But as, even if you were with your ex still, I don't think we would have invited you and your ex at the, your husband at the time to come watch my kids play basketball. So it's hard. It's hard to have that happy balance when all you're doing is going to these sort of uneventful events, I mean, they're eventful to us because we love watching our kids. Of course. I would never subject somebody else.
Right. No, I mean, I love my nieces. Some of their things, I don't want to go to that. Like, I love kids, but if they're not my kids, I don't want to be around a bunch of kids. Like, I don't have kids. I don't want to be around. Like, my sister had that party yesterday for St. Patrick's Day. There was like 500 kids there, I kid you not. And it was like a lot for me. I was like, oh my God, they're just exhausting, like loud and running. And I'm used to loudness, but it was just a lot. I was like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. Like it was a lot for me, which is fine.
And like you said, if you're not used to it, like there was a friend that lived in my town whose son was still playing basketball and stuff. And I'm excited to go watch her son because I miss those days. Right. Where, like you said,
I have no urge to go to that at all.
Because you weren't involved in that. Yeah. So you don't have that connection. Yeah. So, it's hard as far as, people living these different lives. Yep. So even though now that, even though I still have kids, they're in college now. So I don't have that constant, like.
Yeah, you're not being pulled. Right, exactly.
Sort of like the empty
you have a new freedom now, too, actually, Yeah. And I also think that brings up a point of, like, I think just in general, I'm going to forget the point now. I always do this. Why do I forget the point? That's why I need to that's why I interrupt people. Because if I don't interrupt you, it's gone. But yeah, different friends. You were saying something about like, I don't know what it was, but it was.
Different experiences. Like I wouldn't invite like you to their sporting events.
This is my podcast, people. Get used to it because I'm going to forget everything I'm saying. I literally thought is out the door. This is ridiculous. I can't remember. And we always say, I'll remember in an hour.
Yeah, and I'm going to attribute to, again, the brain fog from menopause
Let's just
or
go with that.
perimenopause.
Let's just go with that.
Like our situation of,
I can't.
The trauma that we went through. Yeah, there's many reasons why we lose our train of thought.
But it's like all the things no one really talks about. That's why I'm here. I want to talk about it. Like menopause kicking my ass right now.
Goodness.
Truly. Like and no one tells you about this. No one prepares you for this. I feel like no one prepares you for life, at least our generation. I feel like, here, figure it out.
I don't ever remember my mother or aunts or whatever talking about
giving us wisdom or anything even, or like nothing about husbands or how to be treated. I wish someone sat me down and was like, no boy or man should ever treat you this way or talk to you this way. You should never accept that behavior. Like, no one taught us that. And I just kind of took it. I've had such horrible boyfriends. One that punched me in the stomach. One that wouldn't let me leave his house. I had to run over his foot with my car to get away. He punched the hood of my car. I mean, I had horrible boyfriends that were very abusive and controlling. And then I married one. I was like, of course, because that's familiar.
It's so shocking because you've always come off as this strong, independent woman.
Which I was.
It's shocking to hear that you've had these stories.
Of horrible men that were just horrible, mean and cruel and just abusive. I've had some great ones, don't get me wrong. But the ironic thing is, I didn't like the good ones. I always wanted the bad boy. Why? Because that was more familiar. I always wanted the one who wasn't available. I always want the guy who's going to treat me like crap because that's attention. I'll take any attention. Stupid. Now in hindsight, I know. But like that's why I'm like, if I had children, oh my God, I'd be like giving them a book of wisdom of like what to do, what not to do. But at least I can impart some of it to my nieces. But I just feel like no one talked about it. And so we learned on our own, which is what it is. And it's fine. I know everyone is kind of struggling with all sorts of things and health issues and what you name it. But I don't know. So I wanted to create a place for women like us that we can come together and talk about the issues that really matter that no one's talking about. So like you and I now, what I think also God has blessed me with is that all the women that are in my life, isn't this funny? They're all single. You, Laura, Lauren, my closest friends, all single. And like, that's such a blessing. So at least we have that commonality. So it's like, hey, let's go out to dinner. It's not like I gotta go out with my husband or I have kids tonight or we have a game. So at least like I said, he always provides just what you need when you need it, even if you don't know it. And that has been like what I've seen like most recently in the past like 3 years of how just how good God is and like how I got back with God because I definitely got lost in my marriage and the world is so deceitful. And I just got so lost for so long. And I feel like, oh, finally, like he came back for me. Like, you know, I always say he left the 99, right? And like came back.
Maybe necessarily lost. It was just a different path to get to where you are now, you know? So maybe it was
a long
meant
one.
To be. Yeah, definitely.
Well, he uses all things for good.
Yep.
Good, bad, the ugly. He will always use it for good. And that's why I say I have no regrets because I can't have regrets because, you know, if I had done one thing differently, everything could be different. I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, it's all good. It's all good.
It's been all good. Thank goodness.
Well, this has been fun, Carm. Thank you so much. I'm going to have you on more times because she's one of my besties. We have so many more things to talk about, but I think today is a good start for the first official podcast, first episode. I'm so excited.
We do this all the time anyway, so why not just put microphones in front of us?
Let's record it. Why not, right? Anyways. All right, so we'll be in touch soon. I'll see you again here.
Absolutely.
And until next time, everyone, God bless. See you soon. Bye. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to subscribe to Second Act Sessions on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen, and start your own inspiring second act today.